Captain Day 1 Kim stood in the command center of United Earth Space Command, staring at the holographic display that showed something impossible. The alien signal had been intercepted 3 hours ago, and every minute since then had turned his understanding of the universe upside down. "Play it again," he said quietly. The communications officer pressed a button. Static filled the room, then a translated voice spoke in perfect Korean. "Council patrol vessel reporting. Primitive species on third planet remains contained. No unauthorized departure from solar system detected. Barrier maintenance at 98%. Next inspection scheduled in Standard Cycle 6. Admiral Tae-Sung Choi slammed his fist on the table. The old soldier had fought in the resource wars and survived the lunar crisis, but nothing had prepared him for this. Contained. They've been keeping us locked in our own solar system like animals in a zoo. Day 1 nodded slowly. For 50 years, every human ship that tried to reach the stars had failed. Engines would malfunction. Navigation systems would go crazy. Ships would drift off course and return damaged. Everyone blamed it on technology limits or bad luck. Now they knew the truth. Someone had been stopping them. Dr. Hannah Park entered the room carrying a data tablet. Her hair was messy, and she had dark circles under her eyes, but her expression was intense with excitement. "You need to see what crashed on Mars yesterday." The holographic display changed. It showed twisted metal wreckage scattered across the red Martian sand. The ship was small, barely 20 meters long, and it definitely was not human. "A Mars colony found it this morning," Hannah explained. "The pilot was dead on impact, but the cargo bay was intact." She swiped her tablet and new images appeared. These are technical schematics, power core designs, weapon systems, shield generators, technology we've never seen before. Day 1 leaned forward. The designs were beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Who was the pilot? According to the ship's logs, his name was something we can't pronounce. He was a merchant trader, running from Galactic Council authorities. Apparently, he stole these blueprints and was trying to sell them on the black market. Hannah smiled grimly. He died, but his cargo survived. And now it's ours. Admiral Choi studied the schematics carefully. "Can we build this? The power core?" "Yes, it will take time and resources, but I can reverse engineer it." Hannah pulled up more data. "But Admiral, these designs are just components. What we really need is a ship. A real warship. Something that can stand up to whoever has been keeping us trapped here." The room went silent. Everyone understood what she was suggesting. This was not just about exploration anymore. This was about survival. If the Galactic Council had been secretly controlling humanity for decades, what would they do when they found out humans knew the truth? Day 1 spoke carefully. "How long until their next inspection?" The communications officer checked the intercepted message. 6 standard cycles. "We think that means 6 months in Earth time." 6 months. Half a year to build something that could protect Earth from alien powers they knew nothing about. It seemed impossible. But Day 1 had learned long ago that impossible just meant nobody had tried hard enough yet. Admiral Choi made his decision. "Captain Kim, I'm putting you in command of a new project. Classified above top secret. You'll have unlimited resources and access to our best people." He turned to Hannah. "Dr. Park, you're the chief engineer. I want a ship that can fight. Something these council aliens have never seen before." Hannah's eyes lit up. "I have ideas. Lots of ideas. How big?" Day 1 asked. "Big," Hannah said simply. "If we're going to make a statement, it needs to be a statement they can't ignore. 2 kilometers long. Maybe more. A real star destroyer." The Admiral nodded. "You'll build it in secret. We have an old mining facility beyond Neptune that was abandoned 10 years ago. Perfect location. Remote, hidden, and far from their usual patrol routes. Day one felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. He would need a crew. Engineers, pilots, weapons specialists, scientists. People he could trust with humanity's future. When do we start? Yesterday, the Admiral said. Earth doesn't have time to waste. Over the next week, Day one assembled his team. He chose carefully, selecting people not just for their skills, but for their ability to think differently. The Galactic Council had controlled humanity through predictability and technological limits. So humans needed to be unpredictable and creative. Lieutenant Minji Kang was his first choice for weapons specialist. She was young, only 26, but she had published 3 papers on theoretical weapon systems that had made senior scientists uncomfortable. Perfect. Engineer. Yunho Lee came recommended by Hannah. The man was a genius with material science and had a habit of solving impossible problems by ignoring what everyone said was impossible. As the team gathered at the secret facility beyond Neptune, Day one addressed them all. 50 people floating in zero gravity, looking at the empty space where their ship would be built. 6 months ago, I thought humanity's biggest challenge was surviving climate change and political divisions, he said. Now I know the truth. We've been prisoners in our own solar system. Someone out there decided we weren't ready for the stars. They were wrong. He pulled up the holographic design of their ship. It rotated slowly, a massive vessel bristling with weapons and power. This is the Tahagiji. In 6 months, when the Galactic Council comes to check on their primitive little pets, they're going to find out that humanity doesn't stay contained. We're going to build something that scares them. Something that makes them regret underestimating us. The crew cheered. Work began immediately. The first power core test would happen in 3 weeks. Day one watched as construction drones began assembling the skeleton of Earth's first true warship. The galaxy had no idea what was coming. The construction facility floated in the darkness beyond Neptune like a small city of lights and metal. 3 weeks had passed since work began, and the skeleton of the Tanjuki was already taking shape. Massive ribs of steel stretched 2 kilometers long, like the bones of some ancient metal whale waiting to be born. Dr. Hannah Park floated in the zero-gravity engineering bay, surrounded by holographic displays showing power flow calculations. Her team had been working 18-hour days, and it showed on their faces. But they were close. So close to something that would change everything. Run the simulation one more time, she told Yunho Lee. The young engineer nodded and activated the virtual power core. Numbers cascaded across the screens. Energy output calculations, containment field strength, thermal management systems. Everything looked good. Too good. Hannah, these readings say we're getting 40% more power than the original alien design, Yunho said nervously. That shouldn't be possible. Hannah smiled. The aliens designed their core for stability and safety. Multiple redundancies, conservative power limits. Very smart if you're flying across the galaxy for years. She adjusted one of the containment parameters. But we don't need it to last for years. We need it to win a fight. So I removed the safety margins and increased the fuel density. That sounds dangerous, Yunho said. It is. But being conquered by aliens who kept us locked in our own solar system is also dangerous. Pick your risk. Captain Day One entered the engineering bay, pulling himself through the zero gravity with practiced ease. Status report, Doctor. We're ready for the first live test, Hannah announced. The core is installed in the main chamber. If my calculations are correct, we'll have enough power to run every system on the ship simultaneously and still have energy to spare. Day One looked at the massive cylindrical chamber visible through the reinforced windows. The power core sat inside like a captured star, all smooth metal and glowing energy conduits. And if your calculations are wrong, then we'll have a very expensive explosion and need to start over. Hannah shrugged. Science is about finding out what happens. Reassuring, Day One said dryly. He activated his communication device. All personnel, this is Captain Kim. Clear the engineering section. We're testing the main power core in 10 minutes. Throughout the facility, alarms sounded. Workers secured their equipment and moved to safe zones. Lieutenant Minji Kang arrived at the observation deck, her eyes bright with anticipation. This was what she had joined the military for. Not paperwork and simulations, but real challenges that pushed human capability to the limit. Exciting day, she said to Day One. Terrifying day, he corrected. But yes. Hannah floated to the main control panel, her fingers dancing across holographic buttons. Power core activation in 60 seconds. Containment fields at maximum. Coolant systems online. Emergency shutdown ready. The countdown began. 60, 50, 40. Yunho checked his instruments one last time. All readings normal. Temperature stable. Magnetic containment holding steady. 30, 20, 10. Initiating core ignition. Hana said calmly. The power core came to life. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then a deep hum filled the facility. A sound felt more than heard. The core began to glow, soft blue light pulsing like a heartbeat. Energy readings climbed steadily on every display. 10%, 20%, 50%. Everything looks good, Yunho reported. His voice was tight with tension. Containment stable. Power output exceeding projections. 70%. 90%. Then something went wrong. Alarm screamed. The power core's glow shifted from blue to bright white. Energy readings spiked wildly, climbing far beyond safe levels. The hum became a roar. Containment field fluctuating. Yunho shouted, "We're losing magnetic stability on the western quadrant." Hana's fingers flew across the controls, redirecting power to secondary containment, adjusting fuel flow. "Come on, hold together." The facility shook. Metal groaned under stress. Through the windows, Daewon could see the power core blazing like a miniature sun. Containment fields visible as shimmering barriers of force, barely holding it in check. "We need to shut it down," Minji said urgently. "Not yet," Hana said through gritted teeth. "If we shut down now, the magnetic collapse could be worse than letting it stabilize." She made 3 rapid adjustments, her years of experience guiding her hands. Reroute here. Increase cooling there. Adjust the field geometry to compensate for the fluctuation. Slowly, impossibly, the readings began to stabilize. The roar faded to a hum again. The white glow shifted back to blue. Energy output leveled off at 115% of projected maximum. Hana let out a breath she had been holding. Well, that was exciting. Yunho looked like he might faint. "We almost died, but we didn't. And now we know the core works." Hana studied the data streaming across her screens. "Even better, we know it works better than we hoped. This power output means we can add more weapons, stronger shields, bigger engines." Day One felt relief wash over him. One hurdle cleared. 1,000 more to go. "Good work, everyone. Dr. Park, compile a full report. I want to know exactly what went wrong and how to prevent it next time." Over the following weeks, the Teguki continued to take shape. The skeleton gained skin, armor plating made from alloys that combined human metallurgy with alien material science. Weapon systems were installed along the hull. Lieutenant Minji worked day and night designing hybrid systems that mixed human railguns with alien energy weapons. "Our advantage is that we think differently," she explained to her weapons team. Aliens use plasma and energy beams. Precise, efficient, predictable. We'll use kinetic weapons. Chunks of metal accelerated to incredible speeds. Simple physics, but devastating. Her railgun prototypes fired projectiles at 70% the speed of light. The test targets were vaporized instantly, but not everything went smoothly. 2 months into construction, Security Chief Hyan detected unusual data transmissions leaving the facility. Someone was sending encrypted messages to unknown recipients outside the solar system. The spy was found after 3 days of investigation. A communications technician named Sang Min, who had been bribed by an alien faction to report on Earth's activities. He was arrested quietly, but the damage was done. Someone out there knew humans were building a warship. Day One called an emergency meeting. We have to assume the Galactic Council knows what we're doing. They can arrive early. We need to accelerate the timeline. The ship won't be finished, Hana protested. We need at least 4 more weeks for final systems integration. Then we work faster, Day One said simply. Because ready or not, we're about to find out if humanity can stand on its own. The crew doubled their efforts. Sleep became a luxury. Mistakes increased, but so did determination. Every human on that facility understood what was at stake. That Taoguchi was more than a ship. It was a statement, a declaration that humanity would not be caged any longer, and in 3 weeks, that statement would be delivered. Ambassador Jiwon Song stood in the United Nations Assembly Hall on Earth, watching the holographic display with growing dread. 12 alien ships had just appeared at the edge of Earth's orbital space. They had not requested permission to enter. They had simply arrived, as if humanity had no say in the matter. She had spent her entire career learning diplomacy, studying negotiation and conflict resolution. But nothing had prepared her for actual first contact with an alien civilization, especially one that had been secretly controlling humanity for decades. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, the communications director said. Audio and visual. They want everyone on Earth to see this. The holographic display shimmered and changed. An alien face appeared. The creature was tall and thin, with 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern and skin that looked like polished stone. It wore what appeared to be a military uniform covered in symbols that hurt to look at too long. I am Council Enforcer Commander, the alien said. Its mouth did not move, but the translated words came through clearly. We address the dominant species of Planet 3. Your development has been monitored for 300 of your years. You have reached a threshold point. We are here to ensure your continued proper evolution. Jiwon felt her jaw tighten. The alien spoke as if humans were children who needed supervision, as if Earth belonged to them. Under Galactic Council law, primitive species must be protected from premature stellar expansion, the alien continued. You will dismantle all spacecraft capable of traveling beyond your immediate planetary system. You will cease all weapons development. You will accept Council guidance and protection. The message ended. The alien ships remained in orbit, waiting for humanity's response. Jiwon took a deep breath and opened a communication channel. This is Ambassador Jiwon Song, representing the United Earth Government. We are willing to negotiate, but we will not accept ultimatums. Earth is a sovereign world. We make our own decisions. There was a long pause. Then the alien commander responded, and there was something like amusement in its translated voice. You do not understand your situation. This is not a negotiation. This is a notification of how things are. You will comply or face corrective measures. Corrective measures? Jiwon kept her voice steady despite her anger. You mean threats. You mean war. We do not make war on primitives. We simply enforce order. The alien's 4 eyes seemed to focus directly on her through the transmission. "You have 6 of your hours to begin dismantling your deep space vessels. After that, we will do it for you." The transmission cut off. Ji-won stood in the empty assembly hall, feeling the weight of impossible choices. If Earth refused, those 12 alien ships could probably destroy every human settlement in the solar system. But if Earth submitted, humanity would be slaves in their own home forever. Her communication device buzzed. It was Admiral Choi from Space Command. "Ambassador, we have a situation developing," he said quietly. "Captain Kim is requesting permission to reveal the Taegukji." Ji-won's heart raced. The secret project. The warship built in the darkness beyond Neptune. The one thing that might give Earth a chance. "Is it ready?" "Ready enough," the Admiral said. "Dr. Park says all primary systems are functional. Weapons are online. The ship can fight, but can it win against 12 alien vessels? We're about to find out." Ji-won made her decision. "Do it. Show them that humanity doesn't surrender." Far beyond Neptune, Captain Daewon Kim stood on the bridge of the Taegukji. The command center was enormous, designed to coordinate every system of the massive ship. Holographic displays showed the alien fleet in orbit around Earth. 12 ships, each one smaller than the Taegukji, but proven technology that had crossed the stars. "All hands, battle stations," Daewon ordered. "Prepare to drop stealth systems." Dr. Hana Park was at the engineering station, monitoring power levels. Engines at full capacity. Weapons charged. Shields ready. "We're as ready as we're going to be." Lieutenant Minji Kang checked her weapons arrays one final time. Railguns loaded. Energy cannons synchronized. Targeting systems active. "Sir, we have firing solutions on all 12 enemy vessels." Daewon took a long look at his crew. These 50 men and women represented humanity's best hope. They were scientists and soldiers, engineers and dreamers. They had built something impossible in secret. Now they had to prove it could work. Drop stealth. Full power to all systems. Let's introduce ourselves. The Taegukji appeared from the darkness like a rising titan. 2 kilometers of human engineering and determination, bristling with weapons that had never been tested in real combat. Its appearance sent shockwaves through every detection system in the solar system. On Earth, people watching the crisis gasped as the massive ship appeared on their screens. On the alien vessels, alarms sounded as sensors registered energy readings that should not be possible from a primitive species. The Council Enforcer Commander stared at the tactical display in disbelief. "What is that?" Its tactical officer's skin changed color, a sign of extreme stress. "Unknown vessel. Origin point beyond the 8th planet. Power readings exceed our flagship by 40%. Weapon systems unknown but definitely hostile. Commander, this is not primitive technology." The commander felt something it had not experienced in centuries of service. Uncertainty, fear, communications. Demand they identify themselves. On the Taegukji, Daewon received the alien transmission. He smiled coldly. "Dr. Park, open a channel. Broadcast on all frequencies. I want everyone to hear this." Hannah nodded. "Channel open, Captain." Daewon stood tall, his image being transmitted across the solar system and to every alien ship. "This is Captain Daewon Kim of the United Earth Space Command vessel, Taegukji. You came to our home. You threatened our people. You demanded we surrender our freedom. Here is our answer." He gestured, and the tactical display appeared beside him, showing the Taegukji surrounded by the 12 alien ships. This ship represents humanity's Declaration of Independence. We are not primitives to be managed. We are not children to be protected. We are humans, and we will not be caged. The council commander's face appeared on the communication screen. its four eyes wide with something that looked like rage. Impossible. Your species does not have the technology for such a vessel. You stole this. You violated council law by possessing forbidden knowledge. We learned from a crashed merchant ship, Day One said simply. His cargo, our engineering, our creativity, and now our protection. You arrogant children, the commander hissed. You have built one ship, one. We have 12 vessels here and can summon hundreds more. Stand down or be destroyed. The One's expression hardened. You're welcome to try. The alien commander's skin turned dark with fury. You have chosen extinction. So be it. All vessels weapons free. Destroy that ship. The 12 alien vessels powered up their weapons. Plasma lances began to glow. Energy cannons charged with power that could vaporize asteroids. On the Tajigiki, alarm sounded. Day One sat in the captain's chair, calm despite the impossible odds. Shields to maximum. All weapons ready. Minji, pick your targets. Targets acquired, she responded. Firing solutions locked. The alien fleet opened fire. 12 ships unleashing destruction at once. The space around the Tadji lit up with plasma and energy beams. A storm of alien firepower that would have destroyed any human ship ever built. The shields held. The Toheguchi absorbed the attack, its alien-enhanced defenses proving stronger than expected. Shields at 87%, Hana reported. Some minor fluctuations, but holding steady. The council commander stared in horror. Impossible. Nothing should withstand a combined fleet assault. Day One smiled grimly. Our turn. Minji, show them what humans can do. Fire. The Tahaguji's weapons came alive, and the battle for Earth's freedom truly began. Lieutenant Minji Kang's fingers moved across her weapons console with deadly precision. She had spent months designing these systems, combining human physics with alien technology. Now she would find out if theory matched reality. Firing railgun batteries 1 through 8. She announced calmly. The Tahaguki shuddered as 8 kinetic cannons fired simultaneously. Chunks of dense metal accelerated to 70% the speed of light. Launched with electromagnetic force that no alien had ever conceived of using in ship-to-ship combat. The projectiles crossed the distance to the nearest council ship in a fraction of a second. The alien vessel's shields, designed to deflect energy weapons and plasma, did nothing against simple mass moving at relativistic speeds. The first railgun round punched through the shield like it was not there. It hit the ship's hull, and the kinetic energy released was devastating. Metal vaporized. Internal systems exploded. The entire vessel broke apart in a bloom of fire and debris. The second ship tried to evade, but human targeting computers predicted its movement. 3 railgun rounds hit it simultaneously. The ship did not explode. It simply ceased to exist, torn apart by impacts that released energy equivalent to small nuclear weapons. On the Council Enforcer commander's ship, alarms screamed. The commander stared at the tactical display in horror as 2 vessels disappeared from the formation in less than 5 seconds. Evasive maneuvers, it shouted. All ships scatter pattern Delta. But the alien fleet had trained for centuries fighting enemies who used energy weapons. Predictable weapons with travel time that could be dodged or deflected. They had never faced projectiles moving at near-light speed. By the time sensors detected the launch, the rounds had already hit. Captain Day One watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. Minji, continue firing. Target their larger vessels. Hannah, how are our shields? Holding at 79%, Dr. Park reported. Their weapons are powerful, but our shields were built using their own stolen technology. We know exactly how to defend against them. The remaining 10 council ships spread out, trying to surround the Taeguchi. Energy weapons blazed from multiple angles. A coordinated assault meant to overwhelm the human ship's defenses. The Teheguchi shields shimmered and sparked under the barrage. Warning indicators lit up across Hana's engineering console. Shields down to 68%. They're learning. Concentrating fire on specific points. Then, we don't stay still, Day One said. Helm, evasive pattern. Keep them guessing. The massive ship moved with surprising agility, its powerful engines pushing it through space in ways the aliens did not expect. More railgun rounds fired, forcing the Council ships to choose between attacking and defending. Another alien vessel took a direct hit. Its shields flickered and died. The ship tried to retreat, but a second volley caught it, tearing off its engines and leaving it drifting helplessly in space. The Council commander felt something it had never experienced before. Desperation. This was supposed to be a simple enforcement mission. Arrive, make threats, watch the primitives surrender. Instead, 3 ships were destroyed and a 4th crippled in less than 2 minutes of combat. Emergency transmission to Council Central Command, it ordered. Priority alert. Human species possesses advanced combat vessel. Immediate reinforcements required. Its communications officer worked frantically. Transmission sent, Commander. Nearest fleet is 6 standard cycles away. What about the garrison fleet at the outer colonies? 3 cycles. They can be here in approximately 3 of the local planets' rotations. The commander made a rapid calculation. 3 days. It needed to survive 3 days with 7 functional ships against a single human vessel that was outperforming everything in Council doctrine. All vessels fall back to defensive formation. Maintain distance. Use long-range weapons only. The commander opened a channel to the Tehabgigi. Human captain, you have proven yourselves formidable, but you cannot win. We have reinforcements coming. 40 ships. 50. 100 if needed. Surrender now, and we will negotiate terms. On the Teguji's bridge, Day One listened to the aliens' words. He could hear the fear beneath the threats. They were stalling, buying time. Engineer Yunho, Day One said quietly. Do we have a reading on their communication frequencies? Yunho checked his instruments. Yes, sir. They just sent a burst transmission. High priority encryption. I can't decode it, but the destination point is approximately 3 light years away. Reinforcements, Day One said grimly. They're calling for help. He looked at his crew. We hurt them, but they have more ships. Many more. Eventually numbers will win. Lieutenant Minji spoke up. Sir, I have an idea. These ships all have similar shield signatures. Very similar. They're standardized, probably built from the same specifications across their whole fleet. So that means they all have the same weaknesses. If I can analyze their shield frequency during combat, I might be able to find a resonance point. A specific frequency that disrupts their shields from the inside. Dr. Hana turned from her console, eyes bright, like shattering glass with sound. If we match their shield frequency exactly, we could collapse their defenses with minimal power. Day One considered this. It was risky. They would need to survive long enough to gather the data. But if it worked, they would have a weapon against the reinforcements. Do it, he ordered. Minji, focus on scanning their shields. Hana, prepare the main cannon. If we're going to test this theory, we need a demonstration they won't forget. The battle continued. The Council ships maintained their distance, firing long-range energy weapons that the Tehagju's shields absorbed. Minji's sensors worked overtime, analyzing every fluctuation in the enemy defenses. Hours passed. The alien ships began to show damage from repeated railgun fire, but none were destroyed. They had learned to be more cautious, more defensive. Then Minji shouted in triumph. I've got it. Their shield frequency is 47.3 terahertz, with a harmonic oscillation every 2.7 seconds. If we match that exactly and pulse our weapons at the right intervals, their shields will collapse. Yunho was already programming the data, uploading frequency data to all weapon systems. We can transmit this to Earth's defense fleet too. Daewon nodded. Hannah, is the main cannon ready? Charged and ready, she confirmed. But Captain, we've never fired it at full power. The energy requirements are enormous. We'll drain our reserves significantly. Then one shot better be enough to make them understand. Daewon targeted the Council Commander's flagship. Minji, configure the main cannon with the shield disruption frequency. Let's show them what happens when you underestimate human creativity. The Taguchi's main weapon powered up. It ran the full length of the ship, a massive particle accelerator that focused energy into a beam of pure destruction. The weapon drew power from the enhanced alien core, channeling energy that made the entire ship vibrate. Firing in 3, 2, 1, Minji counted down. The main cannon fired. A beam of brilliant blue light lanced across space, carrying not just energy but the exact frequency needed to shatter the flagship's defenses. The Council Commander saw the attack coming and knew with absolute certainty that it would not survive. The beam hit the flagship's shields, which flickered once, twice, then collapsed completely. The energy weapon continued through, cutting the massive alien vessel completely in half. The two pieces of the flagship drifted apart, internal explosions blooming like flowers of fire. The Council Commander's last thought was one of bitter irony. They had contained humanity to protect the galaxy from a dangerous species. In doing so, they had taught humans exactly what they needed to learn. That they were alone, that they could trust no one, that they needed to be strong enough to fight the entire universe if necessary. The remaining Council ships saw their commander die. They saw the impossible weapon that had killed it. And they finally understood what humans had tried to tell them. They had awakened something they should have left alone. On Earth, billions of people watched the battle. They saw the Tahanjuchi standing alone against impossible odds. They saw human ingenuity and determination defeating technology that was centuries more advanced, and they saw hope. For the first time in 50 years, humanity had a future among the stars. The 6 remaining Council ships hung in space like wounded animals, their formation broken and their commander dead. Captain Daewon Kim watched them on the tactical display, waiting to see what they would do next. Fight or flee? Live or die? The answer came quickly. The alien vessels turned and began accelerating away from Earth, their engines burning at maximum power. They were running. Sir, should we pursue? Lieutenant Minji asked. Daewon shook his head. Let them go. We've made our point. Besides, we need to conserve power and ammunition. The real fight is still coming. Dr. Hannah Park was already pulling up sensor data. The commander's ship sent that emergency transmission before we destroyed it. Whatever reinforcements they called for will be here soon. We need to prepare. How soon? Daewon asked. Based on the transmission trajectory and typical faster-than-light travel speeds, I estimate 72 hours. 3 days. 3 days to prepare for a fleet that could number in the dozens or hundreds. 3 days to turn Earth from a protected primitive world into a defended fortress. It was not enough time, but it was all they had. Daewon opened a communication channel to Earth. This is Captain Kim to Space Command. The immediate threat has been neutralized, but larger forces are coming. We need every ship, every weapon, every human willing to fight. This is not just the Tahanjuchi's battle anymore. This is humanity's stand. On Earth, the response was immediate. Admiral Choi mobilized everything. Defense satellites were repositioned. Older warships that had never been tested in real combat were brought to full readiness. Civilian mining ships were retrofitted with weapons. Construction crews worked around the clock to build more railgun platforms in orbit. Most importantly, engineer Yunho transmitted the shield frequency data to every human vessel. The information that Lieutenant Minji had discovered in combat spread through Earth's forces like wildfire. It was the equalizer that humanity needed. A way to punch through advanced alien defenses using pure human ingenuity. Ambassador Ji-Wan Song addressed the United Nations. Her speech broadcast to every screen on Earth. For 50 years, we were prisoners in our own solar system, and we did not even know it. The Galactic Council decided we were too primitive, too dangerous to be allowed among the stars. They were wrong about primitive, but perhaps they were right about dangerous. She gestured to the holographic display, showing the Taiguchi floating in space. We built that ship in 6 months. We reverse-engineered alien technology and made it better. We defeated a superior force through creativity and determination. And now more aliens are coming to punish us for daring to be free. Ji-Wan's voice grew stronger. Let them come. Humanity has spent its entire history fighting against impossible odds. We climbed down from trees and built civilizations. We crossed oceans in wooden boats. We split the atom and walked on our moon. We survived wars, plagues, climate disasters, and our own worst instincts. We are still here. She paused, letting her words sink in. The Council thinks we need protection. We will show them what we really need: freedom, dignity, and the right to make our own mistakes and our own triumphs. The speech ended. Across Earth, people prepared for war. Not because they wanted to fight, but because they refused to surrender on the Taiguchi. The crew used the 3 days to repair damage and prepare for the next battle. Dr. Hana supervised the recharging of the main cannon. Minji calibrated targeting systems and programmed attack patterns. Yunho reinforced weak points in the armor plating. Captain Day One walked through the ship, talking to his crew. He saw fear in their eyes, but also determination. They had proven that humans could fight and win. Now they had to prove they could do it again. On the 3rd day, the sensors detected multiple faster-than-light signatures approaching the solar system. 43 ships appeared at the edge of detection range, spread across a wide formation. These were not enforcement vessels. This was a battle fleet. Admiral Choi transmitted from Earth. Captain Kim, we have 87 vessels ready to fight. They're not all warships, but everyone has weapons and a crew willing to use them. Day One felt a surge of pride. 87 ships crewed by humans who had never fought in space before, ready to face an alien fleet that had conquered dozens of star systems. It was insane. It was impossible. It was the most human thing he had ever seen. Form up around the Taiguchi, he ordered. We'll use the asteroid belt as cover. Make them come to us. Force them to fight on our terms. The human fleet moved into position. The massive Taiguchi at the center, surrounded by smaller vessels. Mining ships converted into weapon platforms. Research vessels carrying experimental railguns. Even a few orbital defense satellites that had been detached and given maneuvering thrusters. The alien fleet approached slowly, cautiously. They had received reports about the Taiguchi. They knew humans were dangerous now. But they also had overwhelming numbers and centuries of combat experience. A transmission came through on all frequencies. An alien voice, different from the previous commander. Older, more controlled. Human vessels, I am Fleet Commander of the Galactic Council Enforcement Division. You have violated Council law by attacking our ships and possessing forbidden technology. Surrender immediately, and your species will be shown mercy. Day One opened a response channel. This is Captain Day One Kim. We did not attack your ships. We defended ourselves when they threatened our home. As for forbidden technology, We found it in a crashed alien vessel. Possession is 9/10 of the law, as we say on Earth. You do not understand what you have done, the alien responded. The Council maintains order across thousands of systems. We prevent wars. We protect primitive species from destroying themselves and others. You must be contained. We understand perfectly, they once said. You are afraid of us. Afraid of what humans might become if given freedom to grow and evolve on our own terms. Well, fear is a good teacher. Today we teach you a lesson. Humanity does not surrender. He cut the transmission and addressed his fleet. All ships, weapons free. Remember your training. Remember the shield frequency. And remember that we fight for every human who ever looked at the stars and dreamed of touching them. The alien fleet opened fire first, 43 ships unleashing their weapons simultaneously. The space between the fleets lit up with energy beams and plasma fire. A wall of destruction meant to overwhelm through sheer volume. The human fleet scattered. Smaller vessels dove into the asteroid field, using the rocks for cover. The Tahagiji shields took the brunt of the assault, energy readings spiking as the advanced defenses strained under the barrage. Shields holding at 43%, Hana reported. But we can't take much more of that. Then we don't let them do it again, they once said. All ships, target their closest vessels. Use the shield frequency. Fire at will. The human fleet responded. Railguns fired from dozens of ships, projectiles moving too fast to dodge. Energy weapons pulsed at the exact frequency needed to collapse alien shields. Experimental missiles programmed with Minji's discovery streaked across space. The alien fleet had numbers and experience. But they had never fought an enemy that could bypass their primary defense so easily. Ship after ship saw their shields fail, leaving them vulnerable to kinetic weapons that their armor could not stop. A mining ship called the Soul Pride, crewed by 15 civilians who had volunteered to fight, destroyed an alien cruiser with a perfectly placed railgun shot. The crew cheered, then immediately targeted another enemy vessel. The battle became chaos. Human ships weaved through asteroids, attacking from unexpected angles. The Tohajugi anchored the fleet, its massive weapons reaching across the battlefield to support smaller vessels. Admiral Choi coordinated from Earth, directing ships to concentrate fire, calling out targets, reorganizing formations as vessels were damaged or destroyed. Humans were dying. Ships were being lost, but the fleet held together through determination and desperate courage. 3 hours into the battle, something changed. The alien fleet began to pull back, their formation collapsing as more ships were destroyed or disabled. They had come expecting an easy victory over primitives. Instead, they found an enemy that fought with creativity and ferocity that no ALGORITHM could predict. The fleet commander sent one final transmission. This is not over, humans. The Council will send more ships. Bigger fleets. You cannot fight the entire galaxy. Day One smiled coldly. We won't fight the entire galaxy. Just the parts that try to cage us. The alien fleet retreated, jumping to faster-than-light speed and disappearing from sensors. The battlefield fell silent except for the debris and the damaged ships, limping back to Earth. The human fleet had lost 23 vessels. Hundreds of brave men and women who would never see their families again. But they had won. Against impossible odds, with inferior numbers and technology they barely understood. Humanity had defended their home. On Earth, people celebrated and mourned in equal measure. They had won their freedom, but the price was clear. The galaxy knew about humanity now. Some would come as friends, others as enemies. The age of isolation was over. Captain Day One stood on the bridge of the Tajuki and looked at the stars. For the first time in his life, they did not seem unreachable. They seemed like challenges waiting to be met. "Set course for deep space," he ordered. The galaxy wanted to keep us contained.